Thank you very much, Peyton. Can you guys hear me fine? Awesome. Okay. Good. Good afternoon. How are you guys doing? Enjoying the conference? Awesome. All right. So the topic for this super demo is extreme SAS VIA performance on HP GreenLake. Okay. So what we are offering from an HP GreenLake or HP perspective is SAS VIA running on Red Hat OpenShift and HP infrastructure in a private cloud or an on-premises fashion. And we offer this with a cloud-like experience, okay? And you're free to visit the HP booth and we can talk everything about it, but this session is going to focus on performance, all right? So let us dive in. SAS VIA, that's the talk of the town. That's the goal for SAS and for all of us partners as well, right? Now, when we think of moving to SAS VIA, either you are a SAS 9 customer or you are a new customer of SAS wanting to deploy SAS VIA, these are the considerations that probably come to your mind. Data migration, security, TCO, compliance, ease of deployment, performance, control on your data, ease of management, sovereignty, right? And in this session, or here, we are mainly focusing on total cost of ownership and performance. Okay. To give you an idea, tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m., we have an awesome, amazing, delicious breakfast for you. Okay. And that session is going to be talking about the TCO reduction you can achieve on your SAS VIA deployment with HP GreenLake. Okay. So if you want to know more about how you can have SAS VIA deployed with lesser TCO and higher performance, come for this session. All of you are welcome. All right. Now, let's dive into the performance side of this story. So the solution we have for SAS VIA is called HP GreenLake Flex Solution built for SAS VIA. Okay. And here's the architecture. We have SAS VIA running on Red Hat OpenShift on HP infrastructure. So here you can see we have the ProLiant servers and the Alletra MP block storage system. Okay. That's the HP GreenLake offering that we have. And OpenShift can be deployed in a bare metal or a virtualized fashion. So we give choice to the customer to choose the platform or the way they want to deploy OpenShift. Okay, so we offer bare metal, OpenShift virtualization, and VMware as options for you to choose from. And for the OpenShift layer and the infrastructure, HPE can offer managed services. So if you are running SAS 9 today and you want somebody to manage your container platform as well as infrastructure, we are there for you. Okay? And this solution has been co-engineered by SAS, HP, and Red Hat. Okay? So all the three companies have come together and we have created this solution for you. Right? Now, let me take a bit of a deeper dive into how this setup looks like on OpenShift. So we have the OpenShift cluster. Now, as you are familiar, probably you may have seen an OpenShift deployment before. We have a control plane, and here we have the ProLiant 360 servers, the smaller servers for the control plane. And we have 4 worker nodes. Okay? These are the beefier nodes where the actual VIA application runs. And then we have the Alletra Storage MP B10000. That is the block storage solution for this entire offering. Then we have 2 namespaces in OpenShift, the SAS VIA namespace and the HPE namespace. We have the CSI driver that is connecting the storage to the OpenShift layer using the CSI driver here. Okay? And then the first 2 worker nodes are labeled as CAS. How many of you are not aware what CAS is? Oh, okay. I will talk to you. You're Red Hat, you should be aware of it. All right. And then the other 2 are labeled as compute. Okay? So the label in OpenShift is more of a hint to schedule pods onto that particular worker node. Okay? So we are giving hints to OpenShift saying if you have to schedule a CAS pod, you go for the first 2 worker nodes. If you have to schedule a compute pod, you go for the second and the third and the fourth worker nodes. Okay? And now we have the stateless and stateful services, and then we have CAS running in an MPP fashion, a distributed architecture. So we have 5 CAS workers and 1 CAS controller running like this, okay? And then we have compute running as well, okay? So compute runs on worker 3 and worker 4 as the first preference because they are labeled compute, okay? And then we have 2 more compute pods running on worker 1 and worker 2, okay? And that's the spillover. I will talk a bit more about it. So this is like the holistic, deployment model on OpenShift, okay? And then from a storage standpoint, okay, CAS requires something called as CAS disk cache, okay, which is provisioned on the B10000 storage. SAS compute requires SAS work for intermittent data sets. That's also provisioned on the B10000. Okay. And then we have shared data, okay, which has got concurrent access from multiple containers or multiple pods. Okay. So the CSI driver enables both read-write once and read-write many kind of storage classes for SAS Viya. So you don't need any separate NFS storage at all here, right? Everything is served by this storage appliance, okay? Now, in terms of the labels that I mentioned, so these are the 4 worker nodes. These were their vCPU or the cores and the memory. And then this was the Intel Xeon Gold 6544Y series processor that we chose to run this performance setup, okay? This particular processor is 16 cores and 3.6 gigahertz. And this has been chosen together by SAS and HP as the recommended configuration for SAS Viya, okay? And as I said, we have got CAS as the label for the first 2 and compute as a label for the 3rd and 4th node, all right? Now, let's get into the interesting part. This is just the infrastructure, but now we come to the workloads that we have already tested. So we tested with SAS Mixed Analytics workload and data mining and machine learning workload, all right? SAS Mixed Analytics workload is representing SAS 9, like a traditional SAS 9 environment, and the other one is representing the modern SAS Viya kind of a workload, all right? So we want to show that regardless of the type of workload that you want to run, this solution offers the best performance that you want to achieve. Now the first one is, as I said, more of the SAS 9, the traditional kind of a workload, okay, which has the data processing tasks, the analytics tasks, and that runs as Kubernetes jobs in SAS Viya, okay? And here we assign resources for each of these jobs. So for vCPU, we have half a vCPU to 4 cores, and for memory, we have up to 8 gig for each of these jobs that run as part of the mixed analytics workload, okay? And we ran 306 jobs in concurrently and about 1.5 terabytes of data. So because SAS, the workload deals with concurrency in terms of jobs and users, that's what we wanted to test here with this performance characterization, okay? And then on the other workload, that was more on the neural networks, gradient boosting, support vector machines, and so on, okay? And we deployed CAS in an MPP fashion, right? So we had 1 CAS controller and 5 CAS workers, as you just saw in the previous slide, okay? And then we deployed this with a quality of service guaranteed. So we wanted to make sure that no CAS pod gets evicted without resources. So resources get definitely assigned to all the CAS pods here. And we had this as the configuration for the CAS workers. So 16 vCPUs and 128 gig of memory to each of them, okay? I mean, of course, this configuration, we ran only 5 CAS workers, but you could go up to a higher number as well, all right? So this was the configuration that we tested with. And as most of you would know already, SAS has got a strict requirement of 100 to 150 megabytes per second per physical core from the underlying storage. So when we ran the performance testing, we were able to achieve 21 gig per second or 168 megabytes per second per core read plus write on the traditional workload and 218 megabytes per second on the new workload. So what this shows is that no matter what kind of workload you're running or what kind of application you're running on top of SAS Viya, it can achieve or it can get the required performance out of this entire solution, okay? Now, let's see something in action. This is all I'm just talking, but I'll show you, I'll demo you. This is a super demo, right? So this is the recording of the actual test that we ran. So here we have the pods starting up, and you can see the number of pods going high. This is this is the SAS compute workload we ran. So initially, the pods are getting configured on worker 3 and worker 4, which were compute labeled. And then around 9:40, we reach the peak on these two, and then we see a spillover effect. So additional jobs are now scheduled here. And at peak, we were running around 200 concurrent sessions here already. And this, initially, they were part of this too, the 3 and 4 workers, because they were labeled CAS. And then we saw this spillover. So then extra jobs started scheduling on worker 1 and worker 2. Okay. And here you see the CPU and the memory utilization. So based on the upper limit that we assigned, it is all within that limit. And nothing is getting stalled or waiting for resources. Okay. So basically what it is showing is, in the beginning there is a lot of I/O, okay, as a typical SAS job. And then there is more of CPU intensive processing here. So initially it is more I/O intensive processing and then CPU intensive processing. Right. Now that was the CPU and memory utilization. Now let's look at the storage throughput. So when we ran the jobs, we saw the initial spike in terms of reads and writes happening simultaneously. And the highest peak we saw was 21 gig per second. That's what I showed in the previous slide. Okay. And that's giving us 168 megabytes per second per physical core for a SAS compute kind of a job. Okay. Then moving to SAS CAS. Okay. This is the CPU usage, where it is all equally distributed among the CAS workers. Okay, so that was what was expected, that it is an equal distribution among the 5 CAS workers we are running, and that's what we achieved here. And in terms of the storage throughput, we are seeing a similar result. So a lot of reads and writes in the beginning, and then it's more of CPU processing. Okay. And here the peak that we saw was 217 megabytes per second per physical core. So this is well, more than required 100 or 150 megabytes per second per core. All right. So that's the result that we wanted. And this is not even the highest or the max performance. This was a bare metal large configuration. What we have is an extra large as well. So if you have more CAS or more number of compute jobs, you can get an even better performance or higher performance than this. Right? Now, we ran a comparison between a regular SAS Viya deployment in the public cloud versus the setup that I just showed. And the results are for you to see. So this is the time taken by SAS Viya in the public cloud versus SAS Viya on GreenLake for CAS as well as compute benchmarks that we ran. And here you have 5 entries running in parallel, 50 and 500. And you can see the time difference, right? So jobs are completing much faster on GreenLake. And that's what we want to highlight, that we have got better performance, and the other folks are going to talk about lower TCO, right? So tomorrow morning, we are going to show roughly it's a 20% lower TCO running on GreenLake for SAS Viya. Okay. Now that was a SAS Viya solution and the performance that you can get out of it. What I also want to highlight is HPE offers a bunch of services and solutions for your entire data center. Okay? And how can a typical data center look like when a customer is running SAS Viya is what I want to show you. So this is your typical analytics and AI platform running SAS Viya. So we have the ProLiant servers that we just saw and the B10000 block storage that we have for the solution. And then SAS Viya connects to several data sources, right? It could be like an SAP HANA database or an Oracle database, on the structured data side. So for that, we have the Compute 3200 server and the same B10000 block storage for the structured data workloads. Then SAS Viya also connects to a lot of unstructured data sources, like data lakes and stuff like that, for which we have ProLiant servers and the MP-X10000 platform, which is our fast S3 storage platform. Okay. Then we have, I'm sure there are virtual machines at every SAS customer, right? And you all know where the virtual machine or the virtualization world is going with the recent changes around Broadcom and VMware. So from an HP standpoint, we have got a hypervisor solution called VM Essentials, okay? And that can get rid of all your tensions around virtualization. Okay, so we have that solution as well for any kind of virtualized workload that you have. Then, after deploying all of this, you want to protect your data, right? So we have solutions around backup as well with all the leading backup vendors, and the product is called HP StoreOnce. Okay. Then a lot of our customers have edge deployments, okay, streaming analytics, or you have sensor data that is coming in. So we have got deployments for edge use cases as well. Okay. And then from a disaster recovery standpoint, if you have a site here in Orlando and a DR site maybe in Tampa or somewhere else, we have a solution called Zerto, which can offer near zero recovery time. And Zerto now also has ransomware detection capabilities, right? And that also can be provisioned on a B10000. So this could be the DR site for your SaaS Vaya deployment or any of these, and Zerto can handle the entire DR strategy for you. Then we have HP Aruba Networking, which can manage networking across the board for your entire data center. Okay. And then public cloud. So we are friends with public cloud. We have AWS, Azure, or Microsoft, and Google Cloud as our primary partners. And we have got a lot of solutions. For example, the B10000 is available as a software-defined storage on Azure and AWS, right? So that could be used in terms of a hybrid deployment for SaaS Vaya or any other application, okay? And then all of this, we offer HP services to manage the infrastructure as well as the platform. So for example, for SaaS Vaya, we can manage the OpenShift layer for you, not just the infrastructure, okay? And this all can be managed from a single cloud portal called HP GreenLake Cloud Console. So you get the exact cloud-like experience you get with public cloud hypervisors, and you get the exact cloud-like pricing. So you don't need to go for a CAPEX model here. With GreenLake, we offer a pay-per-use and a pay-as-you-go model. So you can have a monthly or a quarterly billing cycle for a 3 or a 5 year term, okay, up to how you want to utilize the hardware, we can offer it for you. Okay, so this is more like a bigger picture or like a data center view of what all HP can offer, regardless of what application or workload you are trying to run. Okay. And now talking about the current customer engagements we have. Okay, so across the globe, right, we have got customers in North America that we are working with. Okay, they are running SaaS 9. They want to move to SaaS Vaya. Okay. We have got a couple of customers and even more in Middle East. Okay. In Europe, we are seeing tremendous demand for SaaS Vaya on premises. All right, so it could be geopolitical reasons or regulations or compliance. So that's a big market as well, and even in Asia Pacific, right? In fact, I would like to mention that 27th of May there is a SaaS HPE Red Hat customer event happening in Singapore. So if you have any of your customers in Asia Pacific, you can get them to go to Singapore for that particular customer event. Okay. And then I would like to end with a few numbers. So 80,000 total SaaS deployments globally, right? 40% of those run on HPE, because HPE and SaaS have had a 40-year-old partnership, right? So empirically, every third SaaS customer is running on HPE. Okay. We are the first vendors to offer a proven SaaS Vaya solution on premises, okay, in partnership with SaaS, Red Hat, and Intel. Okay. And as I said, 4 decades of strong partnership with SaaS. Okay. So that's what SaaS and HPE offered for you, a proven solution for SaaS Vaya, where you can get the best performance, lower TCO, and regardless of which workload or application you want to run, right? Here are some resources, ton of collaterals. If you go to Google, type HPE SaaS Vaya GreenLake or SaaS Vaya HPE GreenLake, you will find everything here, okay? And you're free to come to our booth, and we can talk at length about your requirements and what the solution offers. And again, tomorrow morning, 7:15 a.m., amazing, delicious breakfast ready for you. So you can come to the room called Heathrow, okay? It's not here, it's in the room Heathrow, 7:15 a.m., And we are going to talk about the business value proposition of this solution with lower TCO as compared to the other options. Right? And with that, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you coming here. And if there are questions, I'm willing to take them.
Thank you so much, Anshul. Everyone, let's give it up for Anshul. Now we do have some time for questions. If any of you have any questions, please just raise your hand and I'll bring the microphone over.
Okay, no questions?
No questions? Well, let's give it up for Anshul one more time. Thank you so much for coming, and
Thanks,
thank you
Ketan.
HPE for sending him. It was an amazing presentation, and we've got some amazing opportunities for you guys working together. Stick around. We'll be back in just a few moments with another presentation, so don't lose your seat. Thank you so much.